Morning. I'm trying to learn a lot more about the e-bikes as far as maintenance, because you may find a bike shop around you, but you may have to drive a little bit to find to work on it. Most bicycle shops will not work on them unless they're their product, and almost all e-bikes are made in China. Now there are several out there, e-bikes. I mean, the growth in popularity and the amount of manufacturers now are just growing every day. So the bike costs are starting to come down a little bit. I'm at about 86% right now, and I'm going to bump it up to pedal assist 3. That's where I normally ride at. It'll give me up to about 20 miles an hour. But do a lot of research before you go buy a bike. I was looking at 2 or 3 different kind step-through bikes, but this one, with all the features it had, with the dual suspension, the step-through 20-inch bike, it made my decision. And again, I've had 0 problems on the bike. I had a little clicking sound when it got about 200 to 300 miles on it on the pedals, and I thought it was coming out of the pedals, but I tightened them down, and that didn't stop it. And I mean, well, I hope it's not down into the bracket, or the lower bracket, or the crank itself. So one day I just tightened every bolt on the bike down, and since I tightened all those bolts down, I don't have any noises at all. The bike has been performing really good. I just come up on the 10-mile marker, so we got about a little less than 5 to go. And I'm riding along here at about 20, 21, 22 mile an hour, depending on how much I want to pedal here. And again, I've got about 86% on the battery, so that's really good. There's a bike room coming up here. See him on the bike trail every day I'm out. And we're riding the same direction this time, but if I'm riding the other direction coming back, he'll shake his head at me every time. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know if it's my e-bike, the way I dress. I don't know. He shakes his head every single time. I'm polite to him, and I give him credit. You know, he's getting older and he's riding his bike, not using an e-bike or anything, so I give him credit for that. On your left. Yeah, I get a lot of comments sometimes. The people I'm riding, they just don't like e-bikes on the bike trail. I don't know why. We're careful, they're legal here in Ohio, which a lot of states is. You can only have a 750 watt hub motor, and you're really supposed to max your speed out at 20 mile an hour. They don't say anything. As long as you're careful and you're dressed appropriately so you can be seen, they're going to leave you alone, as long as you're courteous to everybody else on the trail. You get those 1%ers that'll yell at you or call you cheating on your bike because you got a e-bike. I'll let them think what they want to think. I know this is right for me. I'm gonna ride as long as the good Lord gives me breath and gives me the ability to turn these pedals. I'm gonna be on my bike. Got an area here that when it gets in the springtime, it gets really flooded through here. You can't get across this trail because the river's right on the left here, and this trail might be, this little area under this bridge could be 2 feet deep. So you either wade through the water, go up around it, or turn around. But most of the time it's clear. But it's a very comfortable speed for me at 20.9 or 21 mile an hour. It's very comfortable speed. As you can see on the bottom of this controller, it'll show what pedal assist you're in, which is normal. And then it'll also show the watts that you're actually riding at. And then of course you got the tripometer, then the odometer. But the handles on this are very comfortable. It's got Zoom hydraulic brakes on it. Very well-known company for their hydraulic brakes. As I mentioned, I just changed those out on my other bike. But once I get 2,500 to 3,000 miles, I'll probably have to change it on this bike. So I'm at about 760 now. And the tires don't show any wear at all, so these knobby tires do pretty well. And the suspension is really good. You go across bumps, you just really don't feel it. Where my aerial rider, I can feel the bumps. There's no suspension on that bike. We're coming up on an area now called Killcare Speedway here in Xenia, Ohio. It'll be very busy on weekends especially. But sometimes, like Thursday and Fridays, when they have their test days and they're running their E-times and stuff against the clock, you'll see a lot of them out here. That was one of those things on my bucket list. I rode this trail so much and seen them racing their cars. It was really intrigued me. I really like to watch No Prep Kings on TV. So I told my son this is going to be on my bucket list. So one day he called me on day before Saturday and he said, "You want to go to Killcare?" I said, "Yep, that's on my bucket list." And here it is over here on the left. But once we did it, it wasn't too terribly hot out, but the noise and the smell of the fuel is just atrocious. I mean, you almost need ear protection if you're sitting in those grandstands, because them cars are loud. Most of those cars are what we call muscle cars. They were built back in the mid to late 60s, early 70s, and had a lot of horsepower for a street car. Of course, they did a lot of modifications to them. Some of them's got big blowers on them, and I hate to say the money they put into them cars. And they got these toter homes that they carry their cars in when they travel. Them toter homes got to be $100,000 in themselves. So it's an expensive sport for sure. So right over here is the dragway. We got about 3 miles to go at this point. That's usually right at the 12-mile marker when I cross that road. And so far I've been 45 minutes riding. I normally do it in about 50 to 57 minutes. I'll normally get halfway. I've done it so many times now, I pretty much know how long it takes me to get there. Again, that all depends on my speed I'm riding at as well. We're going to bump it up here now to pedal assist 4. Right now we got about 76% left on the battery. So I'm going to bump it up to 4, and we'll get up to about 23 to 24 mile an hour. As you can hear the motor kicking in a little bit there. It's pretty quiet though. Right now I'm about 24 mile an hour. That's about where I should be right now. Just gets me to my halfway point a little quicker. But the ride is very smooth. All you hear is the hub motor purring along there. And between the battery and the hub motor, you got what they call a controller, which sends all the information to the hub motor as far as pedal assist, and it's a little computer. And it'll send all kind of information to the hub motor to tell what you're doing. And when you squeeze these hydraulic brakes, it shuts the motor off to the bike. Doesn't shut it off.